Welcome back to a Nosebleed perspective, and I hope you guys enjoyed our divisional breakdowns and predictions, and let us know your feedback on that. We appreciate it. And now we're going to be moving towards fantasy rankings, and we're going to go with the PPR format just because standard format, I mean, I'm in a standard league. I hate it. I think that's kind of dying now. So we're going to stick with PPR going forward with all our breakdowns and rankings for all these positions. Today, we're going to be starting with the running back position. So last year, Christian McCaffrey was clear-cut number one. He had 1 billion fantasy points. And we're going to kind of go this episode, our power rankings, we're going to do a top 30, and we're going to split it into two shows. This show will do 30 through 16, and then we're going to just go from there. Probably wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. I don't know if anyone cares about doing a show on defenses or special teams, but we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with just some teams that I think everyone should kind of be a little on edge and a little picky and careful whenever you're going to draft these running backs. So I'm going to start with the San Francisco 49ers, that running back by committee, the Baltimore Ravens now, Indianapolis Colts, the Kansas City Chiefs, New England Patriots, the Denver Broncos for sure, and I think the Lions are going to have a kind of a committee too. So watch out for those teams. Do you guys have any other teams that, people should kind of keep an eye on that do that running back by committee?
No, I think you got them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of off the top of the head. But all right, so we'll go ahead and start with number 30. And we're just going to break down one by one for each of us. So number 30, Cheech, who do you have coming in our last spot?
All right, so number 30, I don't know if this is going to be surprising or not. I've got Keyshawn Bond out of Tampa Bay. Yeah, he was so I like him for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because realistically we know that Ronald Jones is not the RB1 on that team. Keyshawn Bond is going to take that job. They've got a pretty decent O-line over there. I mean, they're trying to protect Tom Brady. So they're also making holes for a run game as well because we know that Tom Brady is not throwing that ball 20 yards every play. So I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to rely on the run game quite a bit. And I think that Keyshawn Vaughn is going to emerge a lot this season. He might actually end the season. I think he's going to end the season better than the 30th running back. But going into the league and going into the draft season for fantasy, I'm putting him at number 30.
Nice. Dig pretty deep for that. A lot of people probably don't even know who that guy is, to be honest with you.
The Bucs don't have good running backs, so it's a perk for him. I mean, he is a third rounder, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with him.
Right on, Gibby.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. He could really take on the guy, and there's some guys you can grab in the later rounds that are going to be starters week one that'll probably lose their job. So that'd be a good steal there. I'm going to go with another rookie. He's going to play for the Colts this year, and Jonathan Taylor. He was a beast in college, and I love rookie running backs. They seem to be very successful their first, 1 or 2 years, and they kind of get beat down. And his fumble issues are what concern me. So if I do get Jonathan Taylor, I'm taking one of them guys one of them veterans that are going to get the first 2 weeks, so I don't have to start him week one. But I like Jonathan Taylor as a flex guy, or as I get good top wide receivers, maybe as an RB2 later on in the season.
Nice. Yeah, he's close. It's one of those backfields that are going to be, tough competition between, Marlon Mack, Himes, and him. So I got Darius Geis right here. I know it's a guy who, look, he's played 2 years. He's missed 27 games. He's had a lot of bad luck with injuries, but I think he could. This is going to be a huge risk reward pick, but more likely it's going to be very big risk. But in the game, he played 5 games last year. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry, and with Ron Rivera coming to town, he likes to feature a running back and run the ball, especially with the quarterback because the nosebleeds have bashed so bad at the top over there in Dwayne Haskins. So I think they're going to run the ball a lot. He's going to have his opportunities. He has AP behind him, of course, but I have no idea what's going to happen with this guy, so that's kind of why he's here, but I didn't really want to put him here. But look out for him, and he could take up a bench spot and actually become a starting running back who gets the bulk of the carries going into the season. So that's my guy.
Yeah, he's super talented if he could just stay healthy. Like you said, them 5 yards of carry, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, on not a good football team, so
very bad football team.
Yeah, he could easily finish top 20. I mean, not easily. I won't say easily, just because it's in that team, but he could. You don't know where he could be, like in the 90th, 100. I don't know. Number 29. I'll go ahead and start. This is where I put Raheem Mostert. It's the 49ers like to run the ball a lot, and he averaged 18 points in the month of December last year, which I thought was kind of surprising, but you probably know if you did have him as a late pickup in fantasy last year. But I do like him over Tevin Coleman, just because Coleman's kind of been banged up the past couple of years and really throughout his career. And I like him to take over the bulk of those carries going into the season with an offensive line that got better with Trent Williams. He could definitely – I can see him being a feature back. No one really knows a lot about him. He's an undrafted guy last year. So we'll see. But that running game by committee is always scary. So that's why he's this low.
Nice. All right, so 29, I'm going to go with a guy in Jordan Howard for the Miami Dolphins. I know this isn't a sexy pick, but if he's my flex or I could play him every now and then, like I'm pretty cool with that. I mean, probably in about the 8th round, to get a running back that could probably start with, Breida's injuries and everything. And just that coaching staff, I think, is key. They're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to take the pressure off Tua. So if he's still there in the 7th, 8th round, I'm probably grabbing him. And all he's done since he's been in the league, I know he's been hurt, but he's been in the league 4 years. And over them 4 years, he's the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL, which is a crazy stat to me. So if I can get a guy with that high of a ceiling, now his floor is very low, but that high of a ceiling, then I'll snag that quick.
I like that. Yeah, Jordan Howard was one of my my honorable mentions, but he did not. So for 29, this is where I had Geis. I believe in the dude, but like you said, I mean, he's so injury prone. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. But we saw in college that he can run that damn ball. So he's going to struggle on the Redskins because it's the Redskins. But I think that he's a guy that he can emerge if he can just keep finding holes and stay healthy. He can emerge and be a solid running back. So yeah, I've got Darius Geis, 29.
Yeah, so when Leonard Fournette left LSU, he was that next guy up. He played there, I think, for a year with Fournette. But then once Fournette left, it was like no drop off, no decline in the running game there. And I remember, I think it was Fournette's the year he was about to get drafted. He sat out that bowl game, and LSU actually played Louisville that game. And guys just beat the brakes off us by himself.
Tore him up.
Yeah. So, all right, 28. I'll start this one off. This is where I have Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram was one of the harder ones to place, but at the end of the day, they have way too many running backs to even consider them, in my opinion, for me to go early. This is a late round pick, and I know it's surprising. He had a very successful, year last year in fantasy, but after he got hurt, he's getting older. Who knows what's going to happen? But I have him pretty low, I guess. And yeah, I mean, J.K. Dobbins, who's the rookie, you don't draft, someone like that and not use him. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and Lamar Jackson, who's going to carry the ball probably 10 times a game. So I don't like him this year. I don't like any of those running backs, even though they're all talented. I think they all can play on any team. So it's tough, but.
Yeah. For sure. So at 28, I got a guy that I'm also probably not drafting just because I never draft this team's running back, James White for the Patriots. He is only a PPR league draft to me. If it's not a PPR league, please stay away because you just have no idea, especially with this quarterback. They're obviously going to try to run the football a lot, but, them 60 receptions a year that he just gets is hard to just pass up at this point, a flex guy that's just going to give you a couple catches, once again, a good value. I got this guy at about an 8th round pick again. So, him and Jordan Howard, but he's talented, but that backfield is too crowded.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm going with another crowded backfield, but one that doesn't have a highlighted number one, and that's with our boys, Los Angeles Rams. I think that Cam Akers is going to be he's going to make the Rams proud, and he's going to make you happy that they drafted him. I'll never forget how mad you were that they drafted him.
It was an initial reaction. It was. I do take it back. I am probably one of the few people who actually watched him in college. So, but yeah, I was pissed. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that Cam Akers is gonna emerge and take that backfield, and he's gonna be better than Keyshawn Bond, because I think that the Rams are a better team than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's why I've got Cam Akers just a couple steps away from Keyshawn Bond. But yeah, nice. Cam Akers, number 28.
My big question with the Rams and Cam Akers is, did they learn their lesson with Grind and Todd Gurley? So will they be more of a committee team? So for me, Cam Akers, spoiler alert, doesn't make the list just because I'm not sure what's going to do. But at first he was on my list because he is talented. I think he's pretty good. And, whenever you have a mastermind like Sean McVay, it's hard not to put a guy like them on there. But I'm just not smart enough to know what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. So we're on to 27, right?
Yep.
All right. I got right here. I got Matt Breida. So I think it was hard. Yeah. I think he's gonna. I like all the points you made about Jordan Howard, but I like it for Matt Breida. I know he's been hurt in the past a little bit, but this dude is just he's one of my favorite players to watch in the NFL at running back. Like, he's just such a speedster and a slasher. I like him, and like you said, Tua is gonna need help if he's playing. If Fitzmagic is playing, he's going to know what he has in the backfield. They had no running backs last year. What was his name?
Yeah.
The white dude, Laird. I don't.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, awful. And they had no help. So I think Fitzpatrick, if he's playing, Tua, if he's playing, they dump it off a lot. He can catch the ball. He can run. He's been used in multiple ways. Keep your eye on him. I think he's a potential sleeper. And Jordan Howard, man, like you said, he's always up there, but I'm going to go with the sexier pick here on this one.
Yeah. You never know.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually picked up that Laird guy in fantasy last year after they traded.
It's tough. It's hard not to, because when you see RB1, who else is going to play? No.
Yeah, and Kenyon Drake went away, and he ended up being good on the Cardinals. I was like, okay, maybe they got another solid dude on my end that's just hidden, and no, he was just not good. But at number 27, I'm going with a different Patriots running back. I'm going with Sony Michel, because he is more of a runner than James White. And I think that with Jarrett Stidham not really nobody knows anything about the guy. I mean, obviously the Patriots do, and Bill Belichick knows what he has in Jarrett Stidham. But I think that character at quarterback may end up with a lot of handoffs instead of a lot of passes. I think that the Patriots just to be a more run team than they will be a passing team this season. And Sony Michel he's gonna emerge, but of course they do have a lot of running backs back there, so he's not gonna emerge to a top 15, but he's gonna be a solid running back.
Definitely their goal line guy, though. As crowded as that backfield gets, when you look at everyone else, maybe Burkhead, but to me, if there's a running back, Sony.
He's a
I'm going to go
up, I think. Sony Michel is a better
definitely.
Because he's
standard league guy. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
For 27 for me, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back. I'm going to go with a different one, though. I'm going to go with Ronald Jones. I think this is more of strategy than actually who's the better running back. So I feel like you can get them rookies later that aren't going to start week one. So I need a Ronald Jones on my team that I think will start week one without the training camps and everything to kind of fill my team. And I think I have to grab him here at maybe the 7th round. So defenses are going to be super scared of them wide receivers, man. Like they're going to try to pass rush. Defensive lines are going to pass rush. So that's just going to create huge running lanes. And Ronald Jones, he's had, like you said, Cheech, he's had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to earn that starting spot, and he's just kind of barely hung on. So is he a long-term guy? And I know it's kind of weird in the 7th round to grab a guy who's not long-term, but I think I would grab him here if he was in the 7th round just to get my team. I need them early wins.
I think I drafted Ronald Jones in the 7th round last year, and I wanted to punch myself in the face for that by week 2.
Maybe I'll do that by week 2.
But good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah, good luck with that. And so question with that, would you handcuff then? Would you take Ronald Jones in the 7th and then handcuff if Vaughn is still available in the 14th?
So, yeah, at the 14th, sure. If there's a running back like that, I think I would. Just if I had the number 1 running back secure, then yeah. Kind of one of my things is risk reward. So if I have a risky guy, I need to take a safe guy. So this guy's super risky, so I need a backup plan. So
yeah, absolutely. And those cuff guys can win you leagues, man. They can take you far.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I mean, Austin Eckler last year took me far. I mean, he wasn't necessarily a cuff, but I mean, he was a safe.
He was a cuff, yeah.
I reached to get him, and it was well worth it. Anyway, all right. So we'll go 26. I'll start off. This is where I have James White. Gibby, you made a lot of good points about him. Even though Tom Brady's gone, he still going to get all those receptions, and this is strictly because we're in the PPR format. He had 72 catches last year, which is pretty good. It's top 5 or 6 in the league, I think, and for running back receptions. So, do I think it'll go down? His overall, value goes down a little bit, obviously, from last year because he's a starter last year. If Tom Brady's there, he's a starter every year on your team, usually in a flex or something. But it goes down, but he's still going to be present, and I like him better than Sony Michel, even though Sony Michel is the end zone guy, that goal line guy. So, but he's still going to get catches. He's still going to run the ball. Stidham's going to be looking to dump it off. So, I like him here at 26.
Right on. I'm going to go with another AFC East guy. I'm going with my own Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, he fell deep, but I think that is mostly going to be because, one, Adam Gase doesn't like him. So the game plan might not involve him very much. 2, I don't even know if, with everything that's going on with Jamal Adams right now, I'm sure that Adam Gase and Le'Veon Bell are going to have a conversation that's going to go sideways, and then Bell's probably just like, I'm not playing this season. So, I don't trust anything with the Jets organization right now. I don't know who's going to show up and who's not. So, as great of a running back as Le'Veon Bell is, I just don't trust the Jets organization to properly utilize him and take care of him.
That's a good point. That's coming from a Jets fan that's just been really hurt a lot of times in his lifetime.
Yeah. Moment of silence for Jamal Adams, too. Oh, boy.
I heard it on
this Chiefs jersey would look real nice on Jamal Adams.
Yeah, I heard it on the radio when I was on base today. I heard it on the radio, and I was just like, "Wait, what? What's going on?"
Yeah, I mean, you called it, but
all right. So you fellas are all in the AFC East, and like we said, we never plan these or anything. We just kind of get on here, drink some beer, and go on. But I'm also sticking the AFC East, and I'm a little lower on this guy than everyone else. But I think Devin Singletary is more of a flex than an RB2 this year. He reminds me a lot of Phillip Lindsay, to be honest with you. Just everything he does. And then when you draft Zach Moss out of Utah, it's just tough. It's just tough to take him any higher for me than a flex. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't know if he loses the job, and this team is win right the hell now. So if he has any issues, any stumbles or anything, and he only got a touchdown every 75 times he touched the ball. That is super low. Now, you can look at that and say, well, obviously that's not going to happen again because he's talented, so maybe he steps that up. But there was a lot of games that he just didn't really show up to, and then, he finally did at the end of the season. And I understand this is pretty low for him, but I'm just not sold on, Devin Singletary.
That's fair. I mean, especially if you're just looking at his stats. he was not. I had him on my team last year. He had a couple good games near the end of the season, like you said, but that stat is kind of skewed to me just because Frank Gore, they were trying to pad his Hall of Fame stats left and right. Every time they were even close to the 20-yard line, Devin Singletary did not see the field. And they
that's why the Jets have Frank Gore now.
And he's going to steal Le'Veon Bell.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's fair. Wow, good point. And just like on Devin Singletary, we'll talk about him a little later too. But, he if you watch the Bills last year, he made almost every first guy miss. He ranked in the top 5 in NFL yards per carry when it came to the amount of people he faced that were in the box. The average amount of people he faced in the box was 6.5 every time he was running the ball, and he ranked top 5 in that. He didn't get a lot of chances. They took a lot of carries away from him. But I like him a lot this year. But we'll get to that later. Sorry.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So
I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
No, he didn't. I just love Devin Singletary. I think
was he on your team or was that the trade that was gonna happen? He was on your team.
He was on my team last year.
Caleb wanted him.
Yeah, he did. It worked out for him. Whatever. Caleb, if you're listening, we gave you way too much money the past couple of years. All right. So that was 26, right? So 25. All right, 25. So 25, I'll start off. So this is where I'm going to put Kareem Hunt. Obviously, we all know if Kareem Hunt was with the Chiefs still or with any other team that didn't have another great running back, he's a top 5 guy probably. I mean, it's just – but I think that he's still going to show up. He's going to play a lot of third downs probably. They're going to run the ball a lot, so look out for this guy. If he still is available in those mid to later rounds, if he is available, you should take him. So that's where I like 25.
So at 25 for me, I've got maybe a little bit of a shocker. James Conner for the Steelers. This whole offense was bad last year, but part of the reason they were bad was because of him. And I understand maybe they keyed on him because his quarterback was bad and everything. I just feel like his leash is going to be super, super short this year. So, whatever he does is just going to be, extra criticized and everything. So, for me, it's just a hard draft for him, but his talent keeps him at 25, everything he's been able to do. But I really like, they go and draft McFarland. They got Benny Snell. I just don't know if he keeps it. It's his contract year, so obviously, he's gonna work hard, but it's a huge risk. And if you do take James Conner, you got to have some safer options.
Yeah, that's fair. So this was a tough one for me. I was between a couple different running backs on this one, but I went with Tariq Cohen at number 25. So the Bears offense is an anomaly. 1, nobody knows who's going to be playing quarterback there. 2, their wide receivers aren't great. 3, their running backs even are questionable. I mean, David Montgomery, good running back, but he's not. He doesn't catch passes, and that's where I think Tariq Cohen is going to stand out because they've got 2 quarterbacks. I mean, Nick Foles, BDN, he's a solid guy. And
we lost you a little bit there, Cheech, but that's all right. But you guys hear me? All right, and so now at number 24, I'm going to stick with my LA Rams and go with Cam Akers here. I like this guy a lot. He's grown on me ever since we picked him. I was super pissed when we did take him, only because there were other positions that needed to be addressed. It didn't take away the fact that I really like this guy. It was just hard for me in the moment. So, I think honestly before the season starts, I think we cut Malcolm Brown, which is like kind of our number 1 right now, you should say. That's just a hot take. I've kind of been, according to my sources, So, look, he did really well. Made a lot of dudes look bad on a terrible FSU team. I honestly don't see any decline when it comes to the running back position with the Rams either. So just with, obviously everyone knows how Todd Gurley's performed the past couple of years and the lack there of his performance. But look for him to be a sleeper, man. I think he takes over the starting job by probably week 5 or 6. So he's that good. Yeah, I might be a little biased, but look out for this guy because he is a beast. So that's what I have.
So oh my bad. Do you feel comfortable with him as your RB2 if he was in your starting lineup? Because at 24, most of us play with a 12 and 12. Or do you want him more as a flex?
Well, I don't think you jump really, really early to take him as a starter or a flex. But if you can grab him, I don't know, 7th, 8th round or 6th, 7th, 8th round, right when those picks kind of become like a crapshoot, he's one guy to keep your eye on. I'm telling you.
That's true. It's a good point.
So, and because I'm telling you, I don't know the financial situation. Malcolm Brown's probably coming up on a contract here. I got to look, but they could probably just say, see ya. And I think they like the dude they took last year, Darrell Henderson.
Yeah.
So just look out for that. And if that does happen, they love this. If they do cut Malcolm Brown, that means the Rams love this guy, and you need to any opportunity that you feel is right, take him. So
for sure, like you said, when a team like the Rams who didn't have much draft capital, if they're like, hey, we're going to take this guy in the second round with all their needs, they really like him. So, so here this might be a little homer pick. At 24, I got Kareem Hunt for the Browns. I understand he's a backup, and some of these. With only 30, we're not going to have some starters, so it's kind of weird to have a backup. But this dude can just freaking ball. And this team is going to run the ball more. In his first week back, as you all know, he was suspended for, half the year last year and everything. He had 9 targets. So, he's really going to help Baker. Baker's going to be – he knows his job's on the line. He's the beast. And if Chubb goes down, this is the best handcuff in the league. So it's a double whammy. You could play him, I think, as a flex and – have an awesome handcuff because if Chubb goes down, this dude is automatically a top 10 running back in the league, RB1 instantly.
Yeah, I mean, if like you said, if Chubb goes down, you get Hunt at a position that you think you stole him, you won your league. I mean, because yeah. Cheech.
Facts. So at 24 for me, I've got Leonard Fournette. I believe in this dude. He's a good running back, but he's had a rough career. The Jaguars are a very bad team. He can't help that. Last season, he only had 3 touchdowns. Like that's not a good season for a running back. But I think that he knows that just his reputation is on the line. His job will never be on the line. He's good enough to know that the Jaguars are going to pay him, and if they don't, another team's going to pay him. He's going to get RB1 money because he's good enough. But he's just not scoring touchdowns, and I think that just for himself, he just needs to prove to himself who he is. And I think that Leonard Fournette's going to have a bounce back year, and he's going to put up some 6 stats this season. I think that he's going to be a good flex running back. I don't know if I would draft him in the first 2 rounds. I don't know if I would draft him in the first 4 rounds, but
he's hard to place for sure. With everything going on.
But if I've got a wide receiver or 2 and a running back or 2 and he's on the table still, I might take him.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have him coming up somewhat soon, but we'll talk about him a little more later. All right. So 23, I'm going to put Chris Carson here. And I know a lot of people probably have him a hell of a lot higher, but look, and this could possibly be all me being biased, but he had a ton of volume last year. He played good. He averaged over 15.5 points per game in 2019, over 1,200 yards. He had 6 fumbles. That was a big issue for him, but Pete Carroll's the type of coach who, he'll let that slide. He's like, all right, get it together. But I think that Rashad Penny is actually going to give him maybe not starting role competition, but he's going to take a lot of his carries. He was hurt off and on last year. I think he missed 6 or 7 games or something total, but I think he's going to stiffen that competition, and those carries are going to be taken away from him. And I think Chris Carson, without as many carries and as much volume, his fantasy stock is going to decrease. So that's why I have him a little lower. You're never going to see me jump for Chris Carson unless he's in my lap really late, which won't happen. So.
Okay. Yeah. So here this is where I've got Raheem Mostert. Like you said, it is a running back by committee team, but this dude was an absolute beast towards the end of the season. He showed up and like he was putting up some serious numbers. I think there was like one game he was either at 200 or like very close to 200 yards. I don't know. He was putting up crazy numbers towards the end of the season, and I think that they saw what they have in him. And I mean, like you said, their O-line got even better this season. So maybe he does share the ball more, but maybe Tevin Coleman goes out with another injury, or who knows what's going to happen with this team, because the offense it's very up in the air how they're going to play it out. But I like Raheem Mostert, even though he's on one of those teams that you gave a warning about.
I mean, last year, if Matt Breida's still there, you probably put all these guys even lower. But with Matt Breida being gone, his value definitely goes up. So I don't know, Gibby.
So for me, I got Mark Ingram here. This one hurts to put me this low. I know he's getting old, but he's got a great O-line, and statistically, he has the easiest schedule for a fantasy running back this year. I think a lot of that has to do with just how your boy Lamar tore up their division. So I feel like them stats might be a little, misconstrued and everything. But he's getting old. He's injury prone, and I don't think he maintains the touchdowns he had last year. And it's just at what point does he start really splitting carries? They trust him as a veteran. The team looks up to him. He's a leader, but I don't care about all that when I'm doing fantasy. So you can be the leader all you want. Right now, it's early, so not a lot of people are doing mock drafts, but right now it looks like he's going at the end of the 4th round. That might be a little too rich for me, but if he falls to maybe the late 5th, 6th, I might take a chance on him. Once again, strategy, because I'm wanting to take rookies later on, and I think he's the week 1 starter, so that's why I'm marking him 23.
Yeah, like I said, he was hard. It hurt me to put him at 28, but you just I don't know.
Yeah,
all those running backs, so. All right, well, so 22 now. All right, so I'm going to put David Johnson here. Obviously, no one really knows what he's going to do this year. There's been a lot of, talk with the Hopkins trade, and, he hasn't done shit for the past couple of years. Obviously, he's been hurt, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at that team, I think Watson is going to desperately need him. And he's, especially with the loss of Hopkins, I think Gibby even talked about it on a recent episode. Hopkins was his guy, his check down guy as a receiver. And he's going to need someone like that when he's running for his life. And I think David Johnson, he's proven that he can be a good pass catching running back. I think he'll solidify his starting role. They're going to play Duke Johnson. They are. They're going to use them both. But I like David Johnson to make somewhat of a comeback here. So don't reach for him, obviously. But if he is there in those like 5th, 6th rounds, kind of maybe 4th, if you're feeling risky and you really love David Johnson for some reason. But 22 for me. But that could obviously go lower or higher even. So.
Fair enough.
So
all right.
At 22, I got your guy. We've kind of talked about him, Raheem Mostert. This is a guy with a high ceiling and a very low floor with the committee, but this team is too good not to take him. He's just another great player with a great O-line and a great coach. There's no denying that. I'm just too worried about this team's committee to take him any higher than a flex or an RB2. If they do commit to him, watch out, but I'm just not inside the head of this coaching staff, so I've got to wait to the 5th round to grab him.
Yeah, he's a guy who definitely can take off. It's
yeah,
because if he gets
that's why we love fantasy.
He's going to get his opportunities, though. That team loves to run the ball one way or another. So, Cheech.
So at 22, this is where I've got Singletary. I had him a little lower on my list than you did, just because, like we talked about, Frank Gore was stealing from Devin Singletary last season. And, I mean, realistically, is TJ Yeldon going to be stealing carries from Devin Singletary? No, he's not. They did draft a rookie in the 3rd round, so there may be a little bit of competition over there, but I'm not sure that'll actually be the case. I just think that this Zach Moss dude is going to just be a career backup, or as long as he's with the Buffalo Bills, he'll be behind Devin Singletary. I think Devin Singletary proved himself enough last season that he deserves to be running that ball, and he deserves to be scoring those touchdowns. That's why Devin Singletary for me is 22.
Nice. All right. Well, so number 21, I'm going to put David Montgomery here just because I think he has a lot of potential. I really like David Montgomery, actually. But, last year he kind of had his flashes. But I think he's going to get a lot more opportunities this year. I don't think they gave him the ball nearly enough last year. They just didn't give him enough chances. I mean, Cohen's not the guy you're going to put in there and go grab a touchdown and, goal line formation. So you have to look at somebody on that team who is, and especially the help that obviously Trubisky will need. And Nick Foles, he's a smart enough player that he knows he has somebody in him. They're gonna run the ball a little more. Coach Nagy has to realize that they put way too much on Mitch Trubisky's shoulders last year trying to throw the ball. So look for them to run more. Cohen, I don't have him in my top 30 just because I don't know. There's something about him. Obviously he's a playmaker, but there's something about him that I just don't like fantasy
Short
wise.
people.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. So yeah, so I got David Montgomery here just because of his opportunities and his volume increasing. But yeah, they got to figure out that quarterback position first. But anyway,
Yeah, kind of the same vibe as you at 21. It's not the talent of the running back here. I'm not saying this is the 21st most talented running back, but the volume's going to be there. And you guys have kind of talked about him with David Johnson. I got David Johnson at 21. He's going to be there, but like you said, Hopkins' targets that are now gone have got to go somewhere. Like, I'm not as huge a believer in their other wide receivers. He's not the 21st most talented running back, but that coach is going to try to justify that $10 million contract that now is on the books on a team that already had contract issues. So that's why I would be okay with David Johnson being my RB2.
Look, Gibby does not like this guy, so that's a big thing.
So for me to have him this high, because the next guy I love, so for me to have him this high, I mean, it's tough, but fantasy, you got to put that stuff aside. You're playing for money. You're playing for talking shit to your friends for the next years or so. You're playing for a championship belt that you can walk into work every once in a while.
If you're listening, Gibby just pulled out his fantasy championship belt and showed us.
So you got to put all that shit aside. David Johnson's not a talented guy, but he's going to get 250 carries and 50 catches this year.
David Johnson was once a talented guy. He can still do it, and that's why
he was the number one pick in a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why he's on my list, and he may be an episode or two from now. I'm not going to tell anybody.
Oh shit! Or two.
That's
all right.
But at 21, I think this is the first time that we've talked about all three of our teams in the same episode. At 21, I've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire from Kansas City.
Nice.
I'm not sure if you guys have him on your radar or not, but
Nope.
I just think that this kid is – I mean, obviously the Chiefs have 18 running backs, and any one of them can put up 200 yards in any given week. So maybe not 200. I don't know. We'll go with 102 touchdowns or something like that. But the Chiefs have plenty of running backs, but there's a reason that this team, with all the running backs that they have and all the running backs that came back, I mean, just let's think about it. They didn't get anybody new. They still have Davian Williams. They still have Darwin Thompson. They still have Darrell Williams, the Williams bros. I kept getting confused in fantasy because I would see D. Williams. I didn't know which one I was starting. But there's a reason that they went with a running back in the first round, because they see something in this kid, and I think that he's just really going to blow up their backfield and just –
I'll tell you why. So they didn't have to pay Damian Williams after a Super Bowl performance. As soon as his contract's done, kick him to the side, and then they got a new guy.
Yeah. Probably.
Smart. I mean, it's a great tactic, but that's why.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I said we were going to do our top 15. We're actually just going to do our top 10. So we'll do one more. We'll end on our 20th ranked running back, and then we'll end this episode and kind of break it up into 3 just for time's sake. But all right, you guys both got 21 in. We'll do 20 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. I got Melvin Gordon here. A scary running back, in my opinion, this year to take. And I know that he could probably go a lot lower in a lot of leagues, but I think Denver really does like Phillip Lindsay a lot. Hometown boy, dude's been a beast. Like every opportunity, they've been on, a couple bad football teams with terrible quarterback play, and Phillip Lindsay still produced. Not to mention Royce Freeman. Freeman didn't make the list, or Lindsay. It's hard. This is a team that has really good running backs. They're all really good, but be careful. I mentioned them in the beginning. Melvin Gordon, he's going to get those touches. He's going to get those end zone looks or those goal line looks. Just the sole fact they paid him a decent amount of money. He came in last year after his little stupid holdout, averaged 15 points per game. So he had 8 rushing touchdowns. So in just that little amount of time, because he got the ball on the goal line. So, yeah.
All right. So at 20, I got a guy who was on my fantasy team last year when I won. He was my RB2 after Christian McCaffrey. He's the Jacksonville running back for right now. I got Leonard Fournette at 20. This dude had 76 catches last year, which is insane for him. He's not a third down running back, but he just shows that he can do it. He's super talented between the tackles, and now you add that pass catching ability. He was awesome for fantasy last year. He never won you a game, but he never lost you. He was more in that 10 to 19 range, and he only had 3 touchdowns last year. There's no way this guy goes another year with only 3 touchdowns. I mean, I just expect – you all know what Kenyon Drake did last year, right? As soon as he got traded from a bad team, you'd be like, oh, my God, this guy's a fantasy god. I'm expecting that this year. I'm expecting him to get traded, go to a good football team, and just kind of get that boost. So I'm okay with Leonard Fournette being my RB2.
Yeah, I mean, I like Leonard Fournette this year, and it's really hard to like him because he's on that team, and we don't know what the fuck's going on in Jacksonville. So this dude is like a first-round talent guy. Yeah. I mean, he's been going late first round, maybe 2 years ago, maybe mid-first round. But right now we have him as all below. So I'm just spoiled. I have him at 18, but he's interesting because he's so good. And you brought up those receptions, the PPR. Like he had no business catching 76 receptions last year. Like
no,
turned into a PPR.
That's not his thing.
No, it's not. And he averaged 17 points per game last year, which is damn good, and ran for 1,100 yards. So yeah, like you said, it's not going to. He didn't win you, but he didn't lose you. He's a solid play. I like him. Mid-round.
So I got him pulled up right now, and he's average going in the 4th round. If you're telling me right now, if I'm in the 4th round, I can get Leonard Fournette, I'm grabbing that dude in a heartbeat.
You made a good point, too, with the trade. Yeah. With that trade, if he gets a trade, look out. Man. He will win you a league. Anyway, Cheech, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's crazy that he's going in the 4th. But so number 20, I've got a guy that's already been talked about, Mark Ingram. Everybody knows what he brings to the table, but everybody knows that the Ravens have a running back playing quarterback right now, so we don't even know how many times Mark Ingram's going to get the ball. So if you guys don't watch our YouTube videos and just listen to us, Logs was just very disappointed in what I said. But
MVP, man.
Mark Ingram's a solid running back. He's a real dude, but like you just said, he's old, and they drafted a running back in the 2nd round. They took J.K. Dobbins for a reason. Plus, Gus Edwards is a pretty decent running back just to go with. I mean, he's not a scrub by any means. So I think that Baltimore is in a place that they're ready to replace Mark Ingram, but they're doing the respectful thing and letting him go out on his own terms. So I think that he's going to get the ball within 3 yards of the touchdown a lot of times this season, because every other time Lamar's going to run it there, and then every once in a while Lamar might give it to him, or Lamar's just going to run it in himself. I don't know. Lamar would be on this list if I could put him on there, but
hell yeah. Well, all right. So that's going to wrap up our 30 through 20 projections. We'll come back with a 10 through 20 or 10 through 19? 11 through 19. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys for listening. Subscribe and hang out for some more fantasy projections. We're pretty excited about this. Take it easy.